Dear learners, today's MOOC will be on Module 9, Unit 29, Role of Community Practitioner. Learning Objectives. After going through this unit, you will be able to learn the applicability of the method of community organization in different areas, understand the role of a community practitioner, and learn the necessity of different skills required for community practitioner. Introduction. Community organization practice is a unique form of social work. Basic practice methods draw on some of the sample principles as other practice modalities. However, much of the work of community organization takes place outside agency settings and involves using power and influence to achieve social change. Consequently, organizers need adequate skills, tools to resolve ethical dilemmas they encounter in practice and has to play various roles in different community settings. Recently, community organization as a field of practice has come under pressure to use methods and practices consistent with other areas in social work. Many schools of social work have adopted generalist or multi-system models of practice. Community organizers should conduct research-oriented activities towards finding out community problems and also know how community organization values, ethics, knowledge, and skills are transmitted to workers in agency settings and in social change organization. Since its beginning, the social work profession has relied on the method of community organization to accomplish its objectives. The great social reformers used many components of what is now recognized as community organization. The crusaders against slavery, social evils, for free public education and for better treatment of the marginalized all used it. For various works for world peace, the improvement of rehabilitation and other relief homes, the assimilation of immigrants, the elimination of child labor and other problem areas that had to approach on a more global scale than through direct services. An important document issued recently by the NASW Committee on Community Organization is of essential knowledge for all social workers. It states the community organization practitioner must follow these guidelines. Number 1. Respect for the individual in all circumstances, doing away with all biases and prejudices. Number 2. A commitment to the democratic process and goals. Number 3. A recognition of the diversity of groups and organizations with different emphasis on community welfare provision, service and programs. A commitment to seek change in society which will provide for adequate standards of community welfare for all, equal opportunity of achievement for all, and non-exploitation of man by man. Important roles and essential activities to be taken up by the community organizer are: Number 1. Enabling the community to engage in establishing goals and setting priorities. Number 2. Helping community groups take effective action. Number 3. Guiding the participants in the process through difficulties. Number 4. Initiating action through education, demonstration or other similar techniques. New initiatives have emerged posing as community organizing under labels such as consensus organizing community building or asset building community development. Promoted by academics, foundation officials and government officials, these models replace an understanding of oppressive social structure that divide the haves and have-nots with an assumption of common interest between them, which will allow for conflict-free social change. Such an approach contains within it the threat of renewed backlash against community organizing. For community organizing to continue making meaningful contribution to broad-based empowerment and bottom-up social change, education about realities of operation and training in power-based community organizing strategies will be crucial. Most community organizing networks have to support their own organizer education programs. Role of a community practitioner. For effective community organizing process, the trained social worker working with communities need to have specific knowledge, skills and is required to play various roles in different settings of practice. Thus, keeping in mind the various levels of community organization process, the practitioner plays different roles in the process of reaching to the goals set collaboratively by the community members after identifying the problems. They are counselor, guide, communicator, motivator, innovator, enabler, resource mobilizer, advocate, and others as and when situation demands. Number 1. As a guide and counselor. The community social worker needs to have knowledge about the community in which he or she has to intervene, identify the problem, and then work towards solving it or developing strategies to deal with it. Thus, rapport building with the community members is important in order to build up trust of the community members. Only then the community practitioner can guide and counsel the community members and achieve their cooperation in identifying the issues and working together towards finding solutions. Once the trust is built, the community members seek guidance and counseling from the social worker. Therefore, he/she has to be knowledgeable about the various issues, schemes, and benefits that can be accessed, mobilized for the benefit of the community. Number 2. As a motivator. When the community members start showing confidence on the practitioner, they will seek advice and communicate their apprehension to him or her. Due to various negative situations, the members might get demotivated or lose the track in working towards the solution of their problems. Sometimes the members may also be clueless as to how to work towards the set goals of the community. Here the practitioner plays the role of motivator to move forward untidily to solve the community problems. Number 3. As a communicator and resource mobilizer. For solving any community problem, it is very essential to have open and clear communication between the members, between different groups, and also between the community members and outside agents, institutions, and groups. Thus, the social worker in the community setting has to play the important role of an effective communicator so that there is openness and transparency of grievances and discussion of issues. The community social worker has to be aware of all important schemes, benefits, resources that can be utilized effectively for meeting the needs of the community. The practitioner plays the role of resource mobilizer, connecting the people in need with the resource available. In this process, the worker empowers the community member as he/she creates awareness among the community and motivates them to work towards it. Number 4. As innovator and enabler. The solution to a particular problem can be many, as the community social worker has to be knowledgeable about the community's issues, the resources available, and the strength of the members. He/she has to guide them to explore innovative ways to solve their problems and achieve development where required. Thus, playing the role of an innovator, the community worker has to be enable and empower the members to innovate, build ideas and strategies to deal with their problems. In doing so, the social worker working with particular community actually enables and empowers them to think innovatively and independently to make their own decisions and strategies. It enhances a sense of confidence, belongingness, creativity, and empowerment among the members. 5. As an advocate. The community practitioner who is committed to the betterment of the community will take up issues with systems in power that needs to be dealt with, and he/she plays the role of an advocate while striving for justice and rights of the community. This role is closely connected with the method of social action at the next level. Social therapy is used by community worker, which refers to a type of group therapy where people with common issues are guided and counseled to deal with the issues. Thus, the above discuss some of the most important roles played by community practitioner. We have to keep in mind that these various roles are applicable in different settings of community practice, like rural, urban, tribal, vulnerable communities, public health, and sanitation, in the field of education, workplace, co-recreational studies, healthcare institution, and others. Now let's see the skills required for community social worker or practitioner. There are various skills required for a social worker working with communities. For effective practice of the method of community organization, following skills are essential for community organizer. Number 1. Communication skills. Includes effective listening and responding skills, interpersonal skills, are also referred to as communication and people skills. It includes the patience to listen carefully to other individuals and respond effectively. It is one of the most significant skills of a social worker. Number 2, observation and analytical skills. For a community organizer, observing closely and analyzing the verbal and non-verbal cues is essential. Thus, this skill of being able to observe and interpret meaning from the social phenomena and facts is important. Number 3, collaborative skills and organizing skills. The community organizer should have the skill to coordinate between the individuals, groups and members of the community as well as outside so that they can together fulfill the objectives of the community organization process. The objectives are set in a collaborative manner, taking the consent of all members after debate and discussion. Number 4, resource mobilization skills. Resources can be of two types, financial and non-financial. Organizational resources include money, human resource, equipment and materials. The community social worker must know how to acquire resources for community development, and utilization and mobilization of local and non-local resources is very important. Mobilizing funds, materials, resources from outside the community is required for effective community organization. The community organizer has to take into account the vulnerability, sensitivity, compatibility and the autonomy issues into account while assessing the aspect of mobilizing resources. Number 5, conflict resolution skills. At the community level, there might be conflict between two groups or between the people and the system. Conflict arises when there is a clash of interest between different groups and one group considers the other as a cause of a particular problem in the community. Thus, the community organizer has to have skill to mediate between two conflicting groups to restore peace and negotiate for cooperation to solve the issues. Number 6, leadership skills. Cook and Edwards outline some very specific leadership skills that are expected of social workers. These include managing environmental relationships such as effective agency or program representation and positioning, networking, coalition building, negotiating hostile environments and dealing with multiple customer and stakeholder groups. Regarding social work education, research points to the need for strong leadership in social work. During the latter part of 20th century, the macro skills of community organization, social planning and political advocacy are important. As a result of increasing specialization, many believe the profession has become divided and polarized over philosophical issues and mission. These divisions point to the need for social work leadership in the new millennium to position the profession in a more positive and productive capacity, not only with political leaders but with profession's own membership as well. The profession requires strong proactive leaders for new millennium. This strong proactive leadership philosophy should involve an understanding of pluralistic leadership, collaborative skills. Now let us discuss the concept of community development. Community development is a concept which can be understood from the context of locating development within the paradigm of well-being, human welfare and ecological regeneration in a community. For a very long time, community development is primarily a state responsible which is entrusted on state functionaries. It focuses on holistic development of the community where the interventions are initiated. But community development can be done in partnership with communities, state agencies and other resourceful agencies with common interest. According to UN, community development is a process where community members come together to take collective action and generate solutions to common problems. Community development is also defined as homogeneous social structure implying the process of generation and acceptance of a fundamentally positive social norms, values and practices. Philosophy of community development. The philosophy behind community development has been holistic human development and coexistence of sustainable natural environment. In the context of India, community development has been inspired by Gandhian philosophy or self-rule or Swaraj, which is translated into the practice of decentralized self-governance. Such a philosophy enables every community members to be conscious about equal and distinct rights of their own. The basic philosophical understanding of community development can also be understood on the basis of cooperation amongst the community members, common consensus on issues of local development and collective utilization of resources. skills, public interest, and administration. In India, the Constitution of India has a socialist philosophy of welfare in which the state has to initiate development intervention for communities with an inclusive approach. In the context of social work practice, most of the social development organizations have a vision of welfare for the most marginalized persons and communities as a whole. So what we have learned? Number 1, much of work community organizer takes place outside agency settings and involves using power and influence to achieve social change. Number 2, an important document issued recently by NASW Committee on Community Organization is of essential knowledge for all social workers. Number 3, community social worker has to be knowledgeable about the community's issues, the resources available, and the strength of the members. She has to guide them to explore innovative ways to solve their problems and achieve development where required. Number 4, organizational skills imply the planned and coordinated approach inclusive of purposeful action to reach the common goal. There has to be community participation and organized division of labor. Number 5, new initiatives have emerged posing as community organizing under labels such as consensus organizing, community building, or asset-based community development. Promoted by academics, foundation officials, and government officials, these models replaces an understanding of oppressive social structure that divide the haves and have-nots with an assumption of common interest between them that will allow for conflict-free social change. Finally, we discussed the notion of community development. Thank you.